Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and here we explore the world of fountain pens, ink, and paper. And today, it is going to be a pen day, and it's going to be one of my favorite kind of pen days. You see, I have a thing for blue pens made of turned acrylic with really interesting material, especially if they're like a galaxy blue or something similar to a galaxy blue or just another kind of blue. Maybe I have a problem, but that's okay because I also have another pen. This is the Asvine C80, new to the market. Asvine is a Chinese pen maker that really has hit the scene with one hit after another the past few years. And I think this is going to be, just another hit for Asvine. Now, there are interesting things about this pen. One, I mean, look, blue Galaxy resin. It's not identical to the Galaxy Blue in that Pen BBS that I'm going to also review here soon, but it is similar and it is stunning. It's a large pen, so those of you who like big pens, and some of you do, then it's a large pen, about the same size as a Montblanc 149. Also, it is a number 8 nib. Now, after the number 9 that was in the July 930 recently, maybe you're thinking, meh, small potatoes, but this is no small nib, and it's no slouch on paper either. It is a nice number 8 nib. And as I turn that pen, did you see that? I'm going to get distracted looking at the screen there because, I mean, look at that blue material. Is that not fantastic? And this is not even the only color they're making this pen in. Now, in this review, we're going to take an up-close look at the design of the pen, the features of the pen. We'll put it to paper. We'll see how the ink flows. We'll see if it can keep up with quick writing. We'll do all of that kind of stuff. And then I'll tell you what I think about this pen. Hint, I like it. But let's talk about why as we flip that camera and get started. All right, now here is how the Asvine pen comes to you in a nice cardboard box with a nice protective plastic case with generous foam. You get really good instructions. Those can be appreciated or tossed. I know what you people are like. And then the pen comes in a plastic sleeve and a note. Please check the note for using the fountain pen on the back. And here on the back, it is important, we get a reminder never to clean your pen with alcohol because that can damage this acrylic. It can damage other acrylics as well, obviously. For example, TWSBI has the same kind of warning in their package for the Eco because it does damage the material. And then once that is out of that sleeve and box, just check that out. Galaxy Blue, just a stunning material. The polishing, the turning, it all is just very well done. And that really is the star of this pen's design. This is a simple cigar or torpedo shape, whichever you like to think of it as. Very simple, nothing, there's no trim, no embellishment, just a well-turned pen out of a beautiful material, letting that material do all the heavy lifting for the design. Looks good. It's tapered nicely here at that cap. That just is really, really nicely done. And like I said, very simple. Now, when you take off the cap, let's see if I can figure out. I'm going to watch this spot right here and see how many turns that takes. There is 1 and 2. Yeah, just right at 2 turns to get the cap off. It doesn't post, or at least I'm not going to ever post this pen. It is a large enough pen. You don't need it to post to have plenty of pen to hold on to. This is just a really nice sized pen. And look at that giant number 8 nib. Even after the 9 last week in that July 930, this is still a sizable nib. The section is also generous, has a nice diameter, very well turned, plenty of room to either write right down here or to write back up here toward the top of that grip section. The threads are not annoying at all, and the step down, while identifiable right there, that's not obnoxious either. So if you're a high gripper, you're still going to be able to write with this pen comfortably. When you open it up, you will find that it is a cartridge converter pen. And opening it up, let me just say, opening it up is the only problem I have had with this pen. When I opened up my pen, there was still some chemical used in either the polishing or turning of this pen that was inside the barrel and inside the cap. Whatever that chemical was, it was familiar, but not familiar enough that I could identify it. Instant headache. Did not like that. Gave this pen a thorough cleaning. This is the only time that's ever happened with an Asvine pen, so I'm going to consider that just an odd fluke. But let me tell you, the smell of that, yikes. Anyway, as I said, this is a cartridge converter pen, and this is a 3.4 millimeter bore, so you can get Hongdian cartridges, for example. Those will work in here. Other cartridges that are compatible with their pens are going to work here. And as we focus on that nib, just ignore my poor cable management back there. I'm still in the middle of a desk redo. Anyway, this nib is a number 8. I like the decoration that they've done. It's simple, but I think it looks cool. Asvine, nice big M, so I remember what I have here. And I've written with this in the fine and in the medium and in the stub in terms of their number 8 nib, and I have liked them all. They've all been very good nibs and provided a good writing experience. It does have nice large feed, and that keeps up really nicely well. Mine seems to be a smooth writer with plenty of ink flow, and the medium is probably my favorite of these, but again, all 3 that I've written with have been fantastic. Now, I've mentioned this before, but just in case you're new to the channel, what is the difference between a big nib and a small nib? Well, mostly aesthetic. However, it does change the distance that you write from the page. And so a number 8 or a 9 makes you write further away from the page. I like that. It makes me write a little bit larger. It also is just kind of a personal preference, and I really, really like that. If you have small hands or if you don't like to be far away from the page, then, that's going to be too much. And you're going to want a number 5 probably, or hooded nib, or maybe even a number 6. But I really like the way that these 8s that Hongdian and Asvine have put out write. And I enjoyed that July 930 as well with the number 9. If you haven't checked that out, do so after this video, because that's a really neat pen too. All right, looking at the size of this pen first, let's compare it to the Wingsung Junlai 630. This is one of their classic pens. It's been out for quite a while. It's a piston filler, and it's a large pen, but as you can see, the C80 is actually a bit larger than that, fitting kind of a sweet spot in between the 630 and the absolutely colossal 930. Now, I'm not going to leave that there because that's really just in a completely different class and size of pen. And then there is the Hongdian A9. And I bring this pen up because it's also a number 8 nib, and of course is related to Asvine pens in a way. And this pen is not a small pen, but it's certainly smaller than either of those two. And then if you still need a more familiar reference, here is the Lamy All-Star, which is not a tiny pen at all, but small compared to this Asvine C80. Then uncapped, you can see that this is a pen that's still longer than, for example, the Lamy All-Star / Sapphire. It's longer than the Wingsung 630 and that Hongdian A9. This is the longest pen here. You can kind of compare these 3 8 nibs, all very differently decorated, all interesting in their own way. And frankly, there's not a bad writer in this lineup. I enjoy all of these pens. Now, I did want to make one other comparison before moving on. This pen reminded me a lot the first time I wrote with it of this Birmingham Pen Company 6th Avenue pen, which when I went and got back out of storage, the material is not nearly as close as it was in my head. They're really quite different in the swirling characteristics and material difference, but it's the same base colors. You can see why I would be drawn to either of these pens. But there was something about the actual writing with the C80 that reminded me of this. This has a much longer section. It's a slightly more shaped grip section than the Asvine, but in hand, they really remind me. So if you happen to be one of those lucky people that owns a 6th Avenue from Birmingham Pen Company, you will find this is a very similar writing experience. This is one of those pens that I had to hunt for and wait for a long time, and really, really glad to have that in my collection. All right, let's put the ink to the paper. So this is the Asvine C80. This is a medium, and it is a number 8. Let's check that for wetness. Yeah, not bad at all. Ink today is the Monteverde Sapphire. I really like this ink because it's really well saturated, just a beautiful blue ink. It is maybe the only one where I have it feather bleed through on some papers because this pen and the last pen that I had it in both write really wet, but it's a nice ink. Let's check this for a little bit of flex. It has a nice spring to it, so you can coax, see? A little bit of line variation. Oh, that's so smooth. Just a great writing nib. I have really enjoyed this week. As I mentioned, that grip, really comfortable. You could write all day with this pen. A large nib, and it's a big pen. Kind of likes you to write big, doesn't it? I like the way that this glides across the paper. It likes Rhodia a lot. I also wrote with some of that cheap notebook paper from Walmart that's made in Vietnam that behaves really well, and it behaved well with this ink. And this pen actually really liked that. I'm going to run out of room. All right. Those are three of my favorite things when you're out camping. I just love the sounds of summer, don't you? The cicadas were making lots of noise today, and I know some people that really annoys them, but for me, that's the soundtrack of summer. Let's do our speed test and see how it keeps up here. Real time, as always. Let's see if I can keep the pen on the paper because I'm bad about lifting like I did right there. Probably because I was talking about it. And that did great. Pen flows well, keeps up just fine. I have not, and I'm just going to drag this across here with no pressure. Yeah, I've not had any trouble with this pen whatsoever. It just works and works well. All right, as we close out this video, what would be my final judgment on this pen? Well, I've kind of given that away. I really like the pen. It is a beautiful material. Now, I can't speak for all the materials that they've made, but they all look good to me. This is my favorite, and I love that they released it in this color. But more than that, the craftsmanship on this pen, really, really nice. My nib is well-tuned, flows great. I've had no issues with it, and I really enjoy writing with it. The design of the grip section is nice and comfortable for long writing. The balance is terrific. Really, and this is getting nitpicky because I think this has to do only with the pen that I bought, not the pens in general. The only nitpicky thing I would have is that smell of whatever that liquid was inside this pen when I got it, whatever that chemical smell is, oof, instant headache when I got it. But other than that, that's easily remedied, and the pen, well worth it. Really, really terrific writer, and I think a lot of you are going to like this pen. So question today, would you choose this or would you choose the Junlai 930? And second, if you choose this, what color are you going to get it in? Which one of those looks the most appealing to you? And let's do a bonus question, just in case Asvine happens to see this. Is there a material you wish they had made this pen out of and that you hope they might make it out of in the future? With that, God bless you, have a great week, and enjoy those pens.